Today, you guys are going to learn a new word. It's another one of my Deb specials. The word is a quest statement. Quest statement. I'll give you a little bit of a background on this and how I came up with that. First, the date that I went on last night. This is why this video is being made, because it's fresh in my mind, because this guy used that style of communication. And it's so, he picked me up, and, at first, you're all happy and stuff, right? Because you're thinking, okay, this is starting off really well. The phone conversation that we had was pretty good. It was a blind date and set up by a friend of mine. So I trust this friend, and I like his wife. So I felt like, he probably had some good sense as far as how he picked somebody for me to go out with. And, the conversation was great, so I had no problems with meeting up with this guy. So he picks me up, they're very successful dudes in IT. He picks me up in his drop-top BMW, and it was a nice day yesterday. So, it was really nice. So his car was great. I was so jealous because that's like my dream car, but whatever. I don't have no BMW money. But, it's so sad because within 20 minutes of me getting in his car, I was ready for the date to be over. Now, let me tell you what happened. So, it's like he's talking to me, right? And he's making these, quote, jokes, this joking edge to the stuff he was saying to me. But everything had a bit of a rough undertone to it. And it was like he was challenging me and setting me up to be made fun of at the same time, instead of just asking me a sincere question that I could give a sincere answer to. And I hate that shit. So, parts, after we were at the restaurant and, they took our order and stuff, he was talking, and that's when I really tuned into what he was doing and how often he was doing it. And pretty much, I just kind of started doing my reframe divert thing. And every time he would do one of those questions, I would, just kind of ignore him and start talking about something else. Now, I have to admit, usually I'm more on top of things, but I don't know. I had a really good day yesterday, and I was very relaxed, and I just didn't really feel like, I don't know. I was just in a different zone where I didn't have my suspicion. I was just chill because, like I said, this date was set up by a very, very good male friend of mine and his wife. And, I just love them. So I was a lot more relaxed than I would have normally been, I think. So I wasn't really that focused on what he was doing at first, but then I noticed I was getting like this uncomfortable, like ick feeling. And so I had to like slow down and tune into what was making me realize that I put in my diversion tactics. But basically, when you have a quest statement is what I call it. Every time he asked me one, I would change the topic. So I would either ask, talk about some unrelated something. I would ask him about something about himself, or I would make a comment about the food or the restaurant, or I start talking about the other people that was in the restaurant, about them, funny stuff. I was cracking jokes. I was talking about books I've read. I talked about the channel. I talked about you guys. I talked about my dreams, my goals, and then I kept ordering drinks because I felt like the more vodka I had in me, the less he was going to get on my nerves. And it actually worked. It was really wonderful. So basically, I talked about myself, the way the men do. And it worked for me. So now you're probably wondering, okay, what the hell is she talking about? What is a quest statement? Okay, these are some examples, and I'm sure you've heard them. A quest statement is something like this, I bet you didn't even XYZ. Okay, you fill in the blank. I bet you didn't. You notice that tone? You notice the challenge there? It's like, are you going to ask me if I've done this? Or are you trying to tell me that I'm incapable of doing? What is the goal here, the way you asking me this question? XYZ. Or, you females always seem to blank. Okay, so, or, you seem like you so blank that you would do blank. A typical quest statement in that of that type is, you so independent, you don't seem like you need a man. Now, when they do these kind of quest statements, it's like a combination of a question, but it's thrown in there. What's thrown in there is an assessment of your perceived incompetence, lacking, failure, laziness, inability to achieve something. There's some criticism of you in there. It's a veiled criticism, but it's very much there. It's a statement that's basically designed to put you on the defensive, and it chips away at your confidence and self-esteem. I've seen women, guys do this to them, and you can see the women visibly get small presence of everyone while this guy is doing these quest statement things, and they always do it with a smile. So it's like, people looking at them are going to think they're just kidding around, but they're not, and they know they're not. It's some bullshit. So, but the bottom line is this kind of communication style is very negative. It's very damaging to any kind of relationship that you might have or be trying to get. And because everything that the guy is saying, you feel that you have to defend yourself. You feel like you have to prove that he's wrong and that you're not like what he is trying to imply or actually saying that you are. Do you understand how exhausting that can be? I was only out with this dude for like 2 hours. And by the time I came home, I just felt like I needed a nap and a blankie and a hot bath. It was just so exhausting to hear that kind of stuff over and over and over. And I didn't want to, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to tell this couple. I don't quite know how to word it, but I'll figure something out. But basically, these guys put you in this situation where you're constantly trying to prove that you are good enough, that you are special enough, that you are talented enough, that you are knowledgeable enough, or not like the other women that he knew because you're better, stronger, and able to leap tall buildings in a single bound because you superwoman. It's a challenge. It's challenging you to prove something to his ragged important. I'm telling you, I sat there and I could feel that Leo getting ready to rise up. The only reason I didn't is because of the people that set me up on this date. Out of respect for them, I kept my mouth closed. But normally I would have blew his hair back. I could feel it. That's why I kept ordering drinks, because I needed something to do with my mouth besides talk shit. So I was swinging down martinis. But I think men they just don't realize how disappointing they can be. I'm sure he's going to go away and say, yeah, I spent all that money taking her out and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And, she don't even know she don't want a good man, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And he's not even going to understand. Motherfucker, for real, the way you talk to me was such a turnoff. It was so disgusting. You sitting up there with an MBA and working in tech, and this is the way that you talk to me? This is the best way you can consider to communicate to me in this tone that has veiled put downs in it. Everything that came out of your mouth towards me, that's how you talk to me. I was through with his ass. He didn't even have to worry. There will be no further dates with that clown. And these kind of things where you have to prove yourself. I don't know, it's like you're auditioning. Okay, that's fine if you are getting you're on a job interview, right? And you're trying to get this job. It's going to pay you $35,000, $45,000, $50,000 a year more than what you're making now. I could see you going through a few hoops and jumping around and answering them kind of questions and responding to those questions and proving that you're the best candidate. But you're on a date with a knucklehead. We're not talking about no 6-figure salary here. We're not talking about all these benefit package and retirement and educational compensation and all that. We're talking about an eggnog, okay? I mean, this one was good, smart, very good looking, educated and successful as far as their career goes. But it's like, how are you 48 years old and you don't have a woman? Claiming that you want one. But I could see why, because any woman in life that had confidence and high self-esteem would immediately pick up on his behavior. It's rather abusive, to tell you the truth. Would pick up on that and not want anything to do with him. So he has this long list of all the stuff that he wants, in a woman, and all career, intellect, and all this kind of stuff. But it's like, dude, you need a dumb bunny. You need somebody who doesn't have anything and doesn't know anything, and then they might be impressed and then not really understand how emotionally and verbally abusive you are. But dude, I'm telling you, dude, and a lot of guys talk to women like this, and they don't even understand how fucking irritating they are and how much of a turnoff they are. And a lot of guys, like, even if you're in a relationship with them and they start talking to you like this, and then you don't want to, be intimate with them, they get upset because they don't understand. And it's, you just playing games. No, you don't know how to talk to people. You turn me off. I don't want anything to do with you. I want you to get out of my face. That's what I want you to do. So, bottom line is, like I said, I was in a really special place yesterday. And I do think it was because, it was set up by that particular couple. So my guard was down. It was down a lot more than it would be. I mean, it took about 20 minutes, like I said. But I'm looking out the window, and I'm, feeling the breeze. I'm looking up at the sky and the clouds from the drop top being down. I'm just, enjoying myself. And it was a really nice day. So I didn't tune into it right away, but I want to warn you guys. So don't do that. Always tune into how a guy is talking to you. How is he talking to you? What is his communication style when he addresses you? And his words that he's using landing on you. How are they making you feel? Do you feel cringy? Do you feel smaller? Do you feel attacked? Do you feel fearful? Are you angry? Do you feel confused? Do you feel embarrassed? What's going on? Check in with yourself. Okay? And it's really unfortunate that I even have to make this video. I know we've talked about it briefly in other situations, but never on one video, to really focus in on the language and the questions and the way that men communicate to you. It may seem rather innocuous to people who are observing. It's something he could get away with doing even at a corporate event in front of his boss. It's not overtly abusive, but you have to check in with yourself and your feelings. How it covers sneaky abuse making you feel, and tune into that, and then respect your feelings. And if it's, you talk to him and he doesn't correct it, then you have to decide, is this the kind of man and this the kind of relationship that I want to maintain? Personally, I want a man who's going to, do and say things that are uplifting, encouraging, supportive, happy, exciting, that shows he cares, this kind of stuff. Put me in a position where I have to defend my greatness and explain it to him. It's like, you monkey, who are you? Get out of here. But anyway, that's what I got to say today on my little sneaky in video. This is Deb Cooper. SurvivingDating.com is the blog, and you can you guys become a subscriber if you haven't already. Hit that subscription button. If you got a little time, check out some of the other videos. We got going on 950 videos on the channel now. See you guys on Tuesday for What the Fuck Advice column on Tuesday. Bye bye.